This is Sophie Heller, and this is an ACT algebra question. This is probably our hardest algebra question because it makes you use functions in a difficult way. But as long as you follow your function rules and go pretty slowly, it won't be that bad. So let's take it together step by step. So they're telling us that this function h is defined by h of x equals 4x minus 1. So this is just a normal function. And then they're giving us a scenario. And they're telling us this weird thing with a 1/2, and we have this square root n, and they're telling us that this equals 5. But the first connection that I want to make is that I don't really care about this 1/2. So we care about what the outcome of the function h of x is, not the outcome of 1/2 h of x. We don't care about that. So in order to make things easier for ourselves, why don't we just distribute this 1/2 and multiply it out? So if we just multiply both sides by 2, then we're left with something a lot more manageable. So they're telling us h of square root n equals 10. So it's easy to look at this still and say, okay, this is a little bit weird, but basically it's telling us that for a given x that we plug into this function, we're going to get out 10, and this given x is square root n. So it's just like plugging in 1 or 2 or -1, except that the x we're plugging in is a little bit strange. So given this, so we're given the general function right here, and we're given a specific scenario. So since we have that information, we can easily solve for n. And indeed, that's what they're telling us to do. They're asking us to solve for n. So let's do that. So we have our h of x, so h of square root n equals 10, and we have our 4x minus 1. So we know that this h of square root n is 10, so why don't we replace that here in our output? And let's plug square root n in for our x, minus 1. If we distribute that out, we have 10 equals 4 square root n minus 1. Now we just have some simple algebra. 11 equals 4 square root n. 11 over 4 equals square root n. But that's not our answer, right? So they're asking us for the value of n, not square root of n. So in order to do this, we want to square both sides. And here's where they are aiming to trick you up. So remember, when you're squaring both sides, when you're squaring a fraction, you want to square both the numerator and the denominator. So we're going to get 121 over 16, and that should be answer choice C.